Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Let's take a closer look at the factors that influence first response time, or FRT. This critical metric is shaped by a combination of elements, from how we manage operations and staff, to the processes we design, and the technology we deploy. Together, these factors determine how quickly customers receive that all-important first response. Let's start with one of the most powerful factors that influence first response time, call and interaction volume. Whenever inbound demand surges, whether it's from a new promotion, a billing outage, or a seasonal spike like the holiday rush, queues begin to build. As the number of calls, chats, or emails increases beyond what agents can immediately handle, first response time stretches longer and longer. Customers feel the impact almost instantly because wait times grow before they even receive that first acknowledgement. But it's not just the raw volume that matters, it's also the accuracy of our forecasting. If we underestimate demand, we don't schedule enough agents. The result? Understaffing, higher pressure on those who are logged in, and ultimately, slower response times. Even a small forecasting miss can have a significant ripple effect, especially during peak hours. The key learning here is simple but critical. FRT is highly sensitive to interaction volume. Anticipating demand accurately and preparing for spikes is essential to keeping queues under control and ensuring customers receive a timely first response. Another major factor influencing first response time is workforce management and staffing. The first piece here is agent availability. If too few agents are logged in, or if absenteeism is higher than expected, queues grow quickly. With fewer people to handle incoming interactions, customers are forced to wait longer before they receive that all-important first response. Next is shift planning. Even if you have enough staff overall, poor scheduling can create hidden delays. Overlapping breaks, team meetings, or training sessions can leave certain intervals understaffed. During those windows, response times spike because coverage isn't aligned with demand. Finally, let's consider occupancy levels. When agents are stretched too thin, juggling multiple calls, chats, or tickets at once, they may delay or miss those initial responses. High occupancy looks efficient on paper, but in practice it slows down FRT and reduces the quality of customer interactions. The big takeaway is this: strong workforce management is essential to healthy first response times. By ensuring the right number of agents are available, scheduled at the right times, and not overloaded, we create the capacity to acknowledge customers quickly and consistently. Another key factor shaping first response time is the channel type and the complexity of interactions. Let's begin with voice calls. Here, FRT is tightly connected to ASA, the average speed of answer. If calls sit in queue too long before being picked up, the customer's first response is delayed. This not only increases frustration but also hurts service level performance. Now consider emails and tickets. Unlike live channels, these don't require an immediate real-time reply, but SLAs are often measured in hours or even days. That makes staffing and backlog management critical. If the email queue isn't properly managed, the first response can slip far beyond expectations, leading to poor CSAT and SLA breaches. Finally, let's look at live chat and social media. These are real-time or near real-time channels where customer expectations are dramatically higher. Customers expect to see a response in seconds, not minutes, and certainly not hours. Any delay in chat or on social media can quickly damage trust, and on public platforms, it can even harm brand reputation. The key insight here is that FRT is not a one-size-fits-all metric. Each channel comes with its own customer expectations and SLA requirements. Managing FRT effectively means tailoring staffing, workflows, and technology to the specific needs of voice, email, chat, and social. Another important driver of first response time is the way we manage routing and prioritization systems. Let's start with skill-based routing. On paper, it's designed to ensure that customers are connected with the most qualified agent for their specific need, for example, billing, technical support, or fraud. But if routing rules are poorly configured, calls and chats may sit idle in queue while waiting for a particular skill set to free up. The result is longer FRT, even if other available agents could have provided an initial acknowledgement. Now consider VIP or priority queues. These are often used to give high-value or high-risk customers faster access to agents. While this makes sense for business-critical interactions, if prioritization rules are not balanced correctly, it can create bottlenecks for standard customers. Their FRT grows longer, which in turn risks dissatisfaction and a perception of unfair service. The lesson here is clear: routing and prioritization are powerful levers, but they must be carefully designed and regularly fine-tuned. Done right, they reduce FRT by getting the right interaction to the right agent at the right time. Done poorly, they create unnecessary delays that hurt both customer experience and SLA compliance. Another critical factor that shapes first response time is the level of automation and AI adoption within the contact center. First, let's talk about autoresponders. Without even a basic acknowledgement message, customers are left wondering whether their query was received at all. This increases their perceived wait time and often leads to frustration or duplicate follow-ups. A simple, automated response such as, "We've received your request and will get back to you shortly," reassures the customer instantly, even before a live agent replies. Next, consider chatbots and IVR self-service. Without these tools, routine and repetitive queries, like password resets, order tracking, or account balances, get routed to live agents. That means customers must wait for an agent to be available, which drives FRT higher. By contrast, well-configured automation can resolve simple issues instantly or capture essential details up front, so when the case reaches an agent, they can respond much faster. The takeaway is that automation and AI aren't just about reducing costs, they're about reducing time to first response. They set the stage for efficiency, customer reassurance, and faster resolution by ensuring no customer is left waiting unnecessarily for acknowledgement. Another important element that directly impacts first response time is the complexity of the customer's query and how well it is categorized. Let's start with complex cases. Not all interactions are straightforward. Some require escalation to a supervisor, specialized handling from a subject matter expert, or additional steps like authentication or system checks. These complexities naturally increase the time before a customer receives their first meaningful response. Even if an agent is available, the case may need to be rerouted or queued for the right expertise, and that adds to FRT. Now, let's consider categorization. If queries are misclassified, for example, a billing issue mistakenly tagged as a technical problem, the interaction may be routed to the wrong team. This wastes valuable time as the case is bounced around until it reaches the right agent. Each misstep increases the delay before the customer receives their first response, eroding both efficiency and satisfaction. The key point here is that complexity is unavoidable, but miscategorization is preventable. By investing in smarter classification tools, better tagging, and agent training, contact centers can minimize wasted time and keep FRT under control, even for complex issues. Finally, let's examine how technology and infrastructure limitations can impact first response time. The first issue is system downtime. When critical platforms such as CRM, telephony, or ticketing systems go offline, agents lose immediate access to customer information. Even if customers are waiting in queue, agents cannot respond effectively until systems are restored. Every minute of downtime adds directly to FRT, creating frustration for both customers and staff. The second issue is legacy tools. Outdated systems often lack the speed and intelligence of modern platforms. For example, slow interfaces delay case lookups, and the absence of real-time queue monitoring or auto-allocation means customers wait longer before being connected to an available agent. In short, the tools can't keep pace with the speed customers expect. The key learning here is that technology is a foundation for first response time. When systems are modern, stable, and integrated, FRT improves naturally. But when tools are slow or unreliable, even the best staffing and processes cannot prevent delays. Another important factor that influences first response time comes from process and policy constraints. First, let's talk about SL as tied to specific channels. In many contact centers, the most stringent SLAs are placed on voice, since it is often the highest visibility and most time-sensitive channel. As a result, teams may prioritize answering calls quickly to meet these commitments, but that often comes at the expense of slower channels like email or back-office tickets. This imbalance drives up FRT in less monitored areas, even while headline metrics appear strong. Next, we have compliance and verification steps. In regulated industries such as banking, insurance, or healthcare, agents must perform mandatory checks before delivering a first response. This could include account verification, identity confirmation, or security questions. While these steps are essential for compliance and customer protection, they add measurable time to FRT. The key insight here is that processes and policies must balance compliance with customer experience. Overemphasis on one channel or overly complex verification can inflate FRT, while thoughtful design ensures obligations are met without compromising speed and satisfaction. Another critical factor influencing first response time is agent productivity and experience. Let's begin with the new hire learning curve. Freshly onboard agents, even after training, often take longer to manage their first interactions. They may hesitate while navigating systems, verifying processes, or searching for the right knowledge base articles. As a result, customers may wait longer for that initial response, which raises FRT during the early months of an agent's tenure. Now consider the impact of high attrition rates. When a contact center experiences frequent staff turnover, it's constantly replenishing the workforce with new hires. This creates a cycle of instability where experienced agents are in short supply, and the average FRT across the operation rises. High attrition also disrupts team dynamics, forcing more workload onto fewer seasoned agents, further slowing response times. The takeaway is that agent skill and stability are directly linked to FRT. A well-trained, experienced, and stable workforce responds faster, delivers smoother customer experiences, and keeps queues under control. Conversely, high turnover or a reliance on inexperienced staff drives delays that customers feel immediately. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.